morning, everybody. Welcome back into the one and only AM show. Judea Hartley on the track here. And you guys, at the top of the show, we tease that we have an incredible, fantastic, printed, colorful guest with us in studio today. So I know it's Labor Day, right? I know that you are eating your potato salad and your ribs, but I need you to put that down right now because you guys, we are at the most exciting time of the morning right here live. I have my good new friend, right? The fashionista. Would you show your love for Miss Pam Harris? Woo! Pam Harris is in the building.
I am.
She is, and it wasn't just her bright personality that let me know she arrived, but it was this bag. It was the bag, the shoes, the accessories, the fit. Pam, you are blowing me away. I love your style. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the AM show this morning. Carving out time out of your busy schedule. I don't take it lightly. I'm grateful.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, absolutely. And we, as an AM show family, we are so happy to have you. So you guys, in the introduction, as mentioned, Pam Harris, you are a fashionista, you are a stylist, you have collaborated with so many other reputable organizations that we'll mention a little later on. But I want you to take us back to the fundamentals, right? Back to the foundation, the genesis of where you got your passion for fashion. Tell me where it all started, because I heard through a little birdie that you left the education system in the year of 2022, and you started your fashion brand on social media in the year of 2023. Yes. And you have been stepping on our necks ever since. So really just take us along that journey.
So I was a preschool teacher for going on 15 years.
Wow.
In 2022, I just felt like I was hitting this ceiling.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was destined to do more and be more. And I knew that year, it was time to move.
Yeah.
So at the time, I actually had a vintage reselling business. Still do, but it's on pause.
Okay.
So we'll get into that. So I was thrifting and reselling my items, but I was styling them as I was reselling them on my business page. So that's how people were introduced to my personal style.
Yeah.
So I would go to the thrift store, find these unique vintage pieces, put them on, style them, and sell them on my vintage page, right? So I went to my husband, I'm just like, listen, I want to do this full time. I want to go for it. So he was like, okay. At the time, he was like, all right. And also, it was a good move for our family. You know, we have young kids. So at the time, it was the right decision. And I felt like, okay, God, this is it. I'm going to do it full time. Right? So 6 months in, I'm like, whoa, this is totally different than what I thought it was going to be as an entrepreneur. You're a one-woman show. You are everything. Photographer, marketing, promotion. It's all you.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't bringing me the joy that I thought it would bring me, right? So in February 2023, I had to sit down and really think about how am I going to pivot. And at the time, I honestly felt like a failure. I was like, God, I thought this was you telling me to go, go after it. I quit my job. You know, my husband is holding me down. Like, did I miss it? Did I miss it? You know.
I know, girl.
Did I miss
it? Yes.
So I'm sitting there like, I have to pivot. So it's either go back to work, pivot, and just trust the process and keep going. So I'm like, I'm gonna go keep going. I'm gonna figure this out. So a friend was like, you know, you've been always talking about starting a fashion page. Like, just do it. So March of 2023, I said, you know what? I'm gonna show my personal style to the world and see what happens. I didn't have a plan, Judea. There was no plan in place. I just said, I'm gonna show up. My husband, we're gonna take some pictures, post it on social media, and let's just keep it going. So consistently, I was introducing everyone to my personal style, my colors, my prints, and from then, it just kept growing and growing. So September of 2023, I got invited to Fashion Week as a +1. I wore this colorful dress, and it went viral.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, it went viral. So from then, I just knew like, okay, we're about to go somewhere with this. So then a brand, Kelly Obi, reached out to me. So that was her dress that I was wearing.
Got it.
So she reached out to me and said, you know what, how do you feel about modeling for us? So I started modeling for her a couple months in, and she spent a lot of money on marketing and ads. So my face was everywhere.
Wow.
Because of that. Like, because of that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I was modeling for her, I was everywhere on different ads, on Facebook, on Pinterest,
wow.
Instagram, and people were seeing my face.
Right.
So then in February of 2024, I got the biggest opportunity that I've just ever received in my life, where National Geographic reached out. They were coming to Fashion Week and said, how would you like to cover like fashion content for us in February?
Gosh.
So like from then, I'm like, I'm going to keep going. Like, I'm going to keep going. Like, I bet on myself. I said, I'm going to just trust the process.
Yeah.
God, you're with me. I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And I just, that's it. That's it.
Woo!
It was a lot.
Woo! Wait a minute. Talk, Pam,
yes,
you went through that with ease and a breeze.
Okay.
But when I tell you, you said a mouthful there.
Yes, I did.
I almost forgot the camera was there, girl.
Yeah,
I got to, I really did, because it's real. Because I was enamored by that. Okay, hold on. So Pam, I just want to put this Bentley in reverse.
Okay, let's do it.
I really do. Okay, so you mentioned that you were a preschool teacher for about 15 years. Now, girl, I know we connected, but we're getting ready to connect even more. I was a second grade and a third grade teacher for a couple of years as well. And even though I loved the children, I still love children. I loved educating them and not just teaching them, but reaching them. I knew that it was out of my calling. I understood how painful that thing was. I said, yeah, I want to tell stories, but I don't want to tell stories about ELA and science and math. So I know what it's like to experience the pain of operating outside of your calling. So when you were speaking, this quote came to me. It's like, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? It's like, when are you going to do that? So boy, your story is layered. I know you might, Pam, you may be used to your story, girl, but your story is layered. I want to know, what was that? Let's go all the way back. What was that last day of work like in the classroom? First of all, was your classroom as colorful as you? It had to be. I know you had hanging books and tree. Pam, you had to decorate your classroom like you decorate yourself. How was that?
So the last 5 years of me being in education, I was a pre-K master teacher.
Ooh.
So I was helping to set up classrooms. I was supervising and coaching preschool teachers.
Got it.
And going into the classroom and teaching as much as I needed to. So this speaks pre-K all the way, like the colors and the excitement. But that last day, I felt free, to be honest. I felt this level of just freedom and this excitement and this readiness to just go after what God had designed for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what that was in the moment, but I knew that all my life, I have been into this fashion realm. My mom, I grew up, my mom was such an inspiration to me growing up as just a fashion icon for me. Like my mom would dress up for any and every occasion with style and grace. So that really inspired me. So I've always been into fashion, and I always knew I wanted to get into fashion, but growing up, in a Haitian household, fashion was just not
It wasn't your standard career choice.
Exactly.
It wasn't. Fashion, artistry, musician, it's not. I get it.
And they were concerned about my stability.
Yeah.
Like, you go into fashion, are you gonna find a job? So that's how I got into education, but I always knew I wanted to get back into fashion some way, somehow. So 15 years later, I was still passionate about, I would dress up, go to work. Let me tell you, teachers would be like, Miss Pam Fashionista, like always. When you walk out and you get compliments all the time, it's like, I need to do something with this. But that last day, I just felt so free. Like, it's time for me to really get into what's been on the inside of me for so long. And just unlocking it.
I love what you said about unlocking it, because Pam, I think so many people in your position, I think so many people, they get to this point and it's just like, okay, I can't deny that this is my calling.
Right.
Even if I make someone else mad, even if I don't mean to make you feel inadequate. If I could do it by myself, I could do it by myself.
Right.
I'm not going to deny that God is tugging on me to birth this thing. And I love what you said about that 15 years. That's a long time. That's almost 2 decades.
Right.
And for me, what it sounds like is that you really just jumped. You didn't have all of your ducks lined up in a row. No, I don't have a complete blueprint and bop, 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 we're going to follow this to the T. No, I'm going to have faith, right? That thing that we preach, but we don't really embody. Yeah, now is the time to embody that. So I love that. So, and when I'm thinking about your journey, we're going to get into your partnerships and everything that you've accomplished thus far. But when I think about your journey, I think about how quick God moved once you were obedient.
Right.
Once you were 15 years, Pam, and then now you're invited to Fashion Week. Now you've been invited to model for a reputable brand. Now you've been invited to cover fashion content for the National Geographic. This is all in what, a matter of 2 years?
Yeah.
You see how quick the Lord moves when we decide to be obedient to what he called us to do.
Absolutely.
So I love that for you.
Absolutely.
So let's get into what was that day like, right? Paint us a picture when you got the phone call to be a model for this organization, for this brand. You said that your face was everywhere.
Right.
What was the designer's name? Remind us.
Kelly Obi.
Okay,
New
Kelly
York.
Obi. Paint that picture. Where were you?
Okay, so I wore her dress to Fashion Week. It went viral. So she sent me a DM on Instagram.
Yeah.
And was like, listen, how do you feel about, I was at home and I saw the message come through on my phone. So she was like, how do you feel about coming to model for our brand? And I was like, I don't really model. It wasn't something that I thought about doing at all. So with me, I'm just like, it's my yes season. Like, let's do it. I'm gonna say yes. It's an opportunity. It's something new for me. Who knows where it will take me? And let me tell you, it took me places because again, she spent so much money on marketing that my face was everywhere. So I started working with her. So we would have photo shoots, I'd say like twice a month. And my pictures would be on her Instagram. If you go on her website right now, you'll see plenty of pictures of me on her website. And I think what happened was that when I got the call from National Geographic, I don't know how, like, they found me. It's not to say that I'm discrediting, my Instagram, but I'm like, National Geographic is they're looking for me? Like, for me?
For you.
And then when I spoke to the rep, she was like, I've been seeing you all over the place, and I want to know, like, who you are. Like, I want to know who you are, and I want you at our show.
Yeah.
So really, that opportunity to model for her opened up doors for me.
Wow. And I understand. See, this is why I always say you have to post quality content.
Right.
Whether you are a fashionista, a fashion stylist, whether you're a digital creator, a YouTuber, morning talk show host, you got to make sure that the content that you're pushing out, make sure it's of quality, because you never know who's watching. You don't, like, Pam, you didn't know I was watching.
No, I did
You
not.
didn't know me until today. She didn't know I was watching. You'd be so surprised, right? Who's watching you and who got so inspired. So let's talk about your social media presence, right? Because you have not sort of, you have built your own brand on social media. You are a walking, talking $1 million brand. If you didn't know it, I'm
it.
you girl, you better. You better. If no one told you, let me, and if they did, let me affirm that. You certainly are. So let's talk about your social media presence. When you were in the thick of being the hairdresser, the makeup artist, the PR specialist, right? The photographer. What made you not give up? Because that is a lot to juggle. I think folks glamorize. They glamorize it, Ms. Harris. Being a social media creator, they glamorize that thing, but it's a lot of work. What kept you going?
Well, my faith.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing that, like, this is what God wants for me, and where he guides, he will provide. So I knew that if I kept walking, he would continue to order my steps. So I had to have trust in that and believe in that. And I know sometimes, like, our faith wavers when things don't look the way they're supposed to look. Because when I started in March, I mean, I had like, 50 followers, and I was still showing up showing who I was in my personal style. And I just also, I still feel it now. Like, I want so much more for myself. I want so much more for my family. And you know how you can see where you want your life to be?
Of course.
So you're just trying to move to get closer and closer and closer. And, you know, the Bible says that we are to live life abundantly. And I want to feel that. Like, I want to feel like I'm living an abundant life.
Yes.
So it's like, I'm trying to do the legwork now so that I could enjoy it.
Yes.
So I think that's what's like really just pushing me. Like, I can see the life I want. And it's at my, I get emotional thinking about it. Because I'm just like, I really want it that bad. So I see the life I want, and I am just striving to get there.
Yeah.
So that's what pushes me.
So
that's what pushes me.
So let me park the car right here, because that's exactly where I am. Okay. I get it. I get it. I know what that is. Where you're grateful for where you are. You thank the Lord for how far you've come, but you know that this is not the end. It's just like, okay, right. I remember this lady in my church. She's one of my mentors, Pam. This is what she told me. She said certain things are a blessing until they're not anymore. Until they're just not anymore, and that's your time to elevate. And if we don't move, God has a way of pushing us. Okay, well, you didn't move when I told you to move. Now I'm gonna push you because I can't afford for you to miss this pot of gold with your name on it. So I love that. I love that. I love that. Now, you posting your pictures and your reels on Instagram, everything, Pam, is so bright and it's so vibrant. And I really feel like the world needs your vibrancy, right? This is telling a story. I went to school for journalism. We're storytellers over here. Your outfit, your brand, the way you interact, you tell a story. What really enables you to gravitate to these bright colors with these wildly beautiful prints? Because so many people get stuck in the neutral. Right. But I love me pops of color, honey. So tell us where your passion for the vibrancy came from.
So with my vintage reselling business, I gravitated so much to 1980s vintage. You know, like the bright neons and like the bold colors, the bold prints.
Got it.
And that's what I was styling with my business. So I would thrift and, you know, get all of these prints from the thrift store and just style them to sell. But vintage is really where I just gravitated towards that as I was thrifting. But also too, I realized that when I wear color, it does something to people.
It does.
Right?
It's doing something to me right now.
Like, it does something to people. There's something about color that lifts someone's spirit up. Yeah. Like, I could be walking down the street and someone just starts smiling at me. Yeah. Because of my outfit. Yeah. Because my outfit did something to them. It lifted something up in them. But also too, I mean, it's not just like the color, it's also just the energy too that comes with like the color and the person wearing the color as well. But I love the way I make people feel with what I have on. So like that's what pushes me to keep wearing colors because it just makes people happy.
It does.
You know, it makes people happy.
It does. It really does. When I walked in and saw you, I said, oh, that's Pam Harris, baby. That's Pam Harris in the flesh with all of these bright, bold colors. Now, let's talk about fashion and social media. How do you feel, what do you think about social media influencing the fashion world? Because we know it has. What are your views on that? Fashion has influenced social media. Social media has influenced fashion. What is your perspective on that?
So I always see social media, it's a marketing tool. Yeah. And that's why brands reach out to these creators, because at the end of the day, like, we are marketers, we are promoters, and people want to see real life people wearing clothes. Yeah. Not just celebrities wearing these outfits. They want to see real life people wearing these brands. So they reach out for the creators. And to be honest, I feel like the past 2 years, creators have just been blowing up. Like, brands want creators to wear their clothes, to promote their clothes, because there's some level of relatability when it comes to someone like me rocking a brand. Yeah. And the fact that I show up just authentically like myself and wearing this brand, it's like, it encourages people to say, oh, you know what, I trust Pam. Yeah. And I trust her judgment in these brands that she wears. And there's also this level of trust that comes with influencers, right? Some influencers you feel connected to.
Yes.
You know, you feel connected
Absolutely.
to certain influencers. So because of that connection, because of that trust, brands see that. Brands know that you are influential. So I want to use that influence.
Yeah.
You know, which is why I want to send you pieces. I want to get you to partnerships with us because we know the influence that you have, you know, with your audience.
Yeah.
So like recently, I've noticed that, you know, my page has been evolving and I've started to share more of my story and inspire. And I think what's really interesting about that is people are starting to relate to my story.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's find out how she got here.
Yeah.
So I've been showing bits and pieces of how I got here, and that's how I've been growing.
Yeah.
Because people want to see your story and your authentic, like, how did you get here?
I'm telling you.
Right? How did you get here? Because a lot of people are where I was, and they want to get to where I am, though I'm not where I want to be right now, but people want to know, like, how did you come out of that?
Yeah.
How did you grow the confidence to just say, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing this thing. I'm doing it scared. Like, how did you get the confidence to do it scared?
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get the confidence to jump? How did you get it to jump? And I love what you said about authenticity because, Pam, I always preach this. I don't, whether I'm at work, in my personal relationships, whether I'm at church, whatever I'm doing, I always preach you cannot be stuck up. People are not going to relate to that.
They won't.
You know what I mean? If you don't try to understand their community, their culture, whatever, we shut down. People are not going to relate to that if you have to be the smartest person in the room, if you never make any mistakes, if you don't tell us the BTS, the behind the scenes of how you got to where you are. That's why, wow, that just encouraged me. Sometimes you do got to tell your story. How did that work? You're a girl and it took forever to get into my field, forever to get into television after 3 and 4 degrees, forever. See, people need to hear that.
Yes.
People need to hear that, because that will give them hope. And I love that you provide that so much. You guys, we have so much more to talk about with our girl and friend, Miss Pam Harris. Of course, we're going to talk about all of your collaborations. We're going to talk about styling folks, one-on-one sessions, because so many people could use that help. I'm in love, you guys. So we are going to take a quick commercial break at this time, but don't y'all go anywhere. We want your face to be in the place, honey, because after these messages, we have so much more with Miss Fashionista herself. We'll be right back. There she is. Welcome back to the one and only AM show. Pam Harris is still with us, fashionista herself. Now, Pam, we got to get into your collaboration.
Okay.
So I know that you've had some incredible collaborations. In addition to covering fashion content, right, for the National Geographic, you've also had collaborations with TJ Maxx. You've had collaborations with Rip the Runway. Yes, the Runway. And you are part of the Macy's crew. Yes. Macy's crew member 2024. Let's get into all of that. Talk about opportunity.
Yeah, so I'd say 2023, after Fashion Week, started modeling for Kelly Obi. So once I did that, my first email came in, it was Andrea Iyama. Biggest brand has never reached out to me. Biggest brand that has reached out to me. Okay, I'm just starting, by the way. I started March 2023. Now we're in September 2023, about 6 months in to my fashion page. So I'm like, okay. Then Brahmin hits me up, and I'm just like, okay, what is happening here? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So, okay, so now it's Andrea Iyama, then it's Brahmin, and then it's TJ Maxx hitting me up. And I'm just like, God, you are blowing my mind.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's not even within a year, and the brands are hitting me up about collaborations and partnerships. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then that's when the National Geographic came around, and I'm just like, all right, when God moves, he moves.
Yeah.
He moves.
He moves. When he hits play, he's ready.
He hits it. So then, recently this year, I got invited to the Macy's Style Crew, which was, I can say, like my biggest accomplishment thus far.
How was that?
It was amazing. So Macy's Style Crew, what's funny is that people were assuming that I was creating designs for Macy's Style Crew. But what Macy's Style Crew is that they basically handpick fashionistas, you know, and girls in the beauty scene who are doing their thing, who they want to basically style for them.
Yeah.
So what it is that you're styling their pieces and creating content for Macy's. So what I'm doing is that I am basically promoting their clothes and their brand. I'm being invited to like exclusive brands and partnership opportunities. Like I just went to Franco Sarto release of their spring 25 shoe collection.
Wow.
So it's just this plethora of opportunities just to be in the Macy's Style Crew.
Yeah.
So I am excited. I'm excited to see where I go. I mean, when I say brand trips, they, you know, sponsor brand trips for you, and so that you can network with other content creators and fashionistas.
It's so true.
Doing their thing.
Doing their thing, because the audience that you've curated, that provides more visibility for them.
Exactly.
Right? Who says their audience is exactly like your audience? No, so it's more visibility and more demographic. I also want to add that you've had incredible collaborations with thredUP, Nat Geo, right? Brahmin. How were those? What were those experiences like?
They were amazing, and just, you know, again, I was so new to this.
Yeah.
Like I was just showing up, showing my outfits, and that, like I was so new to collaborations. But working with them, you know, when they reach out to you, they basically break down what they want from you.
Yeah.
So it's like, we would love for you to create a reel for us and a story for us, or we would love for you to, you know, create photos, a carousel for us on Instagram. So they tell you exactly what they want from you, and you basically bargain your value, and you say, okay, for this is how much I'm worth. And since they're reaching out to you, then they actually know your value if they're already reaching out to you, right? They see you. And that's how collaborations work. They reach out to you, they ask you for the deliverables, and you basically give them a charge and say, for this is how much I feel that my work is worth.
Yeah, that's how it is. That transactional relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, that's you being a digital creator, a walk-in brand. And now, Pam, you are so fly. That is inevitable, girl. We see that. I'm curious, do you style people one-on-one? I know you have these incredible collaborations, but what about a sister girlfriend that just wants your expertise? Do you style folks one-on-one?
So that's interesting that you asked me, because I have been getting so many DMs and emails about, like, do you style, do you personal style? So I think one of my goals before the year's out is to actually open that up, because I have been getting so many messages about, can you style me? Like, do you need help? And do you need an assistant? And I'm like, who, me?
Yes,
like,
you, girl.
Me?
It's your yes season.
Me? So I think by the end of the year, I'm definitely going to offer those services.
Yeah.
Because I've been getting messages about it.
You have to, Pam. There's a plethora of money there waiting for you. It's money in those DMs, because people need those one-on-one styling services. Now, I know that you mentioned, of course, being a pre-K teacher, but I'm thinking in my mind, I'm just curious, is there a way that you will ever intertwine the two? Meaning, being a teacher, you have to pretty much be good at public speaking. You gotta, you gotta know how to plan lesson plans, reaching people. I'm curious, is a fashion seminar in your near future?
Look at you.
What? Hello?
Look at you.
Pam, you can intertwine the two. Okay, we're not in the classroom, honey, but we are. We are, sister, in the classroom of fashion. Now, let me teach you the importance of people seeing you before they hear you. You could be saying great information, but honey, no, we don't. No, we're not listening. We're looking at what you have on.
Right.
Presentation is everything. Did you package that seminar yet? Because you need to.
Someone actually reached out to me and was like, can I do a course on colors and prints?
Absolutely.
Or putting together colors and prints. And I said, okay, I'm gonna stick a pin in this and write it down as another goal of mine before the end. Because there's so many possibilities in this fashion world.
Yeah.
And the fact that people know that I am known for, wearing my colors and prints. They want to know, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you put the colors together?
Oh, yeah.
If I'm new to color, how do I introduce, my wardrobe to color? Or how do I go about mixing prints? So people are interested in that. And when I first came out with my Instagram, the bio was here to inspire you to wear those colors and to mix those prints.
I love that. I love that. And that's exactly, Pam, what you're doing. Now, girl, I got to ask you the $1 million question. I know we have a few minutes before I have to let you go. Unfortunately, I got to ask you this $1 million question. Okay. Where do you shop, honey? Okay. Give us some insight. Where can we go to get our lives?
Okay. Believe it or not, your girl is a thrifter. I'm a thrifter.
Yeah.
Like, I go to the thrift store because you won't find certain pieces out there.
True.
With certain brands.
True.
So the thrift store is mainly where I go. And that's really where the quality of vintage pieces will last over time.
I love that.
But also, like, I wear Kelly, like, this is Kelly Obi right here. The dress is Kelly Obi. The top is Kelly Obi, Andrea Iyama, black-owned brands too. Bruce Glenn.
Yes. Yes, we got to support them.
Yes, Faye Noel. Like, I am a big supporter of black-owned brands.
Yeah, I love that.
That resonate with me. And that's Brandon Blackwood.
Yes.
That's where the bag is from.
A little commotion for the bag. A little commotion for the bag, please. A little commotion for the bag. All right, Pam, I know I got to almost let you go, but I got 2 more hot questions for you. We can chop it up briefly. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, wow.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a good question. So I am currently working towards management and management representation and agency.
Got it.
So I would love to be a part of an agency where they do all the handling work for you.
Yeah.
They set up the partnerships and the collaborations for you.
They do.
You don't have to do all that.
Yeah.
And I'm talking big brands like Target, like setting up collaborations that I would never have thought that I could grab on my own. So I definitely see myself being a part of an agency and really turning into like a multi-million-dollar brand in the future.
You're already that. You're already that, and you are. I stand in agreement with that. You're already that. It's just going to manifest. I love that. Now, quick question. Do you do fashion shows? Are you open to that? Like just doing regular fashion shows for children, for women, for men? Do you do that?
I'm definitely open to that.
Okay.
I'm actually curating a fashion show for my church.
Yeah. Girl, I was going to ask you because we need one in my church. Okay. Oh, we're going to talk. Yes. We're going to talk. Go ahead, for your church.
I'm actually creating one for my church in the spring. My first lady was like, listen, I already know you. I already see you. I'm grabbing you for this.
So funny. My mother's the first lady.
Oh, my gosh.
Hilarious. Yes. Hilarious. Yes. I love that, Pam. Okay, so I only have about 30 seconds with you. So I want to do this very, very quickly. I'm going to start a sentence. I want you to finish it with one word.
Okay.
One word. Are you ready?
I think so.
Accessories are...
essential.
Colors are...
beautiful.
Fashion is...
me.
Makeup means...
beauty.
Business is...
personal.
Yes, girl! Yes, girl. Pam Harris, I want you to look right at this third camera and tell all of our brothers and sisters where they can follow you on your social media.
Okay, so on Instagram, it is The Stylish P. On TikTok, it is The Stylish P. I am going to start my YouTube channel where you will find me. And I think with the YouTube channel, it'll be more geared toward faith and fashion because that is needed. And also, if you want to see my portfolio, please go to PamelaHarris.squarespace.com.
Yes, I love it. Pam, I thank you so much. I am just super stoked about this new relationship. I feel like I found a friend. I feel like I found somebody that's going to dress me all the way up. Like, I am just so excited for the possibilities because I truly, truly believe that this is your calling, that this is your passion. I truly just pray God's favor over everything that you touch. May that thing manifest and turn to gold. It really, look at her nails, y'all. Look at even the nails are talking. Stace the nails, Even the nails are talking. Gang, you are an empire, just serving inspiration and receive it, girl, in shades of blue and green and yellow and orange. That's Pam Harris, everybody. We want to thank her once again for coming on the AM show. Be sure to follow her Instagram pages, y'all. I promise you are going to receive some light, a little bit of love, definitely some fashion tips. You absolutely need to start that YouTube channel because you can get monetized. People will follow you just because of your great spirit. You can have on a beautiful outfit, but if the spirit is ugly, then there's no relationship. So you have both, and we thank you so much for being a gift. All right, everybody, we're gonna head on over to a quick commercial break, but we want you to stay, right, you guys, because we have so much more of the AM show when we return. Pam Harris, baby. Pam Harris.